everybody, so once again I'm talking about something that should not be occurring. I want to address a recent announcement in this video about a small theatre production in the United States that features Prince George, who is only 11 years old, as a character imagining his future as an adult involved in mature themes. Now, as you all already know Prince George is a real child who deserves privacy, respect and protection, just like any other young person. Using a real child, especially one who cannot consent or share their perspective, as the subject of a fictional story with adult themes raises important ethical questions. Now, art and theatre of course play important roles in exploring complex issues like identity and society. However, when those themes are assigned to a living child, it becomes a matter of concern. Children should not be portrayed in ways that include adult situations or behaviours, particularly without their consent. And this sadly is not the first time Prince George's image has been used for entertainment purposes. Previous portrayals have sparked debates about the boundaries of creative expression and respect for privacy. It is important to remember that children, whether in the public eye or not, are not characters to be reimagined for artistic purposes, and I don't know why anyone would think of doing that anyway. Prince George, of course, is part of the royal family, but that does not mean he should be treated differently when it comes to kindness and respect. Everyone, public figures or private individuals, deserve to be approached with empathy. Being in the spotlight doesn't mean giving permission to use a child's image in ways that may not be appropriate. And yet again, Prince George is still a child, growing up and still discovering who he is and how he fits into this world, such as, he's still learning about, the royal family and stuff and, his role, his future role in becoming a senior royal and eventually future king, It is crucial that he is allowed to do so without having fictional stories written up about him. Especially those involving mature content. Even adults deserve control over how their personal stories are told, and children deserve even more protection because of how young they are. We get the occasional glimpse of Prince George and his siblings, and that's because his family want to give the children a as normal life as possible while easing them into public duties. The occasional times that they are in the spotlight should not automatically entitle people to do whatever they want with their image and write fake stories about them. When are some people going to realise that this kind of behaviour is actually disgusting and literally shows just ignorance at its highest level? And again, I'm going to say it again, Prince George is a child. He has real emotions, he's growing up in a uniquely public and often challenging environment. He, along with his siblings, should not be made the subject of ridicule or fictionalised in exaggerated or inappropriate stories for other people's entertainment. Children, regardless of their background, deserve to be protected from this kind of treatment, not placed at the centre of public mockery or speculation. I'm genuinely shocked and disappointed that Canadian writer Jordan Tannehill believed it was appropriate to create and stage a production like this. Choosing to fictionalise the future of a real child, especially with mature and sensitive themes, crosses a line. It's deeply troubling that this concept was not only written, but is now being brought to life in a theatre setting, without regard for the dignity or well-being of the young person at its centre. And what also annoys me about some people in this generation is they literally just think about themselves and about how much money they're going to make and how much, they're going to hit the news, rather than think about other people's feelings. It's disgusting. Fair enough, if you want to make a show, that's completely fine, but leave real life children and children in general just out of mature themes like that. It's disgusting. What on earth was going through this man's mind when he decided to write this? It's hard to understand how anyone could justify placing a real child at the centre of a fictional story involving really adult themes. Prince George is not a character. He is a young boy with no say in how his image is used. The lack of judgment and empathy shown in creating this production is truly baffling. It raises serious concerns about how far some are willing to go for the sake of so-called artistic expression without considering the impact of the real people involved. And what I've come to the conclusion of in this? Is that some people will literally just do anything to get money. Some people are only there to think about themselves. It's so selfish. Let's support Prince George by respecting his privacy and allowing him to grow up without being used as material for stage shows and TV shows and stuff like that. Children should be protected and treated with care, no matter their background or family.